You're welcome back from that very quick break, and of course, hope you're well informed on the AM news. At about this time, let's quickly go over to some business reports. Up next is the business update. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Business Report on Global Morning. According to data from Debt Management Office, the total public debt in Nigeria is an estimated 97.34 trillion naira, that is $108.23 billion as of December 2023. This figure was an increase of 146% from 39.56 trillion naira, that is $95.77 billion as at the end of the previous year. The major reason for the significant increase in the addition of CBN 20 trillion naira, that is $48 billion in ways and means, leading to the government and about 60% devaluation of naira. The federal and the state governments owe a combination of domestic and foreign debt. Domestic debt is made up of FGN, security, treasury bill, and more recently CBN ways and means on the foreign scene. Amid economic challenges, the Nigerian stock market has showcased resilience, experiencing significant growth in the first quarter of 2024, starting the year at 74,774.73 points. The NGX surged by 39.84%, representing 87% of the total growth achieved in 2023. Market capitalization also surged, increasing by 18.2 trillion naira to close at 59.13 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024. The exceptional performance of the market was driven by the exceptional performance of an individual stock, among them the cement companies. The three listed cement companies, Boa Cement, Dangote Cement, and Lafarge, total market capitalization moved up to 17.164 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024. Ghana Cocoa Marketing Board, Cocoa Board, is set to raise the price paid to cocoa farmers for their produce by 50% to share extra profit from rising global prices. A spokesperson from Cocoa Board relayed the information. Accordingly, cocoa prices have more than tripled in the last year due to adverse weather and disease affecting the output of cocoa farmers, pushing the global market to a third successive deficit. Before this announcement, the official price cocoa grower in Ghana and Ivory Coast, who supply about 60% of the world cocoa produce, can charge for their produce, was yet to reflect the current price surge in the global market. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
All right, welcome back to Watch Africa's Finance Breakfast Show. It's Global Morning, and today is no doubt the 5th of April 2024. And the two very key issues are playing out. We're looking at the hike in electricity tariff, the effects and the consequences. We'll be looking at this as we'll be talking to an economist and also someone who is a public affairs analyst in the person of Issa Aliyu Shatta. We'll also be focusing on the Paris 2024 ticket, talking about the Super Falcons trying to qualify for the Olympics. Since 2012, Nigeria has not been at the Olympics. So we'll be talking about these two very interesting issues with Issa Aliyu Shatta. Good morning, Issa. Nice to have you join us on Global Morning. All right, let's look at, there are two issues that we'll be focusing on. We'll be looking at the Super Falcons who will be engaging the Banyana of South Africa, who are current champions of the African Women's Championship. Looking at the fact that Nigeria has not been to the Olympics since 2012, are you confident the Falcons can scale through against the Banyana who are already talking tough?
Yeah, I'm optimistic that our ladies will be able to perform wonders. Most especially if you take a look at what they did in the previous World Cup not too long ago, you will see that they were determined. They represented Nigeria with a very high spirit, and you can see their level of patriotism. The problem is that we have not been patriotic to them. The same level of support we give to the male national team is not the same thing we extend to the female national team. And despite that, they don't really look at those gender biases. They still go out, step up, and represent Nigeria in flying colors. The truth is, we need to, even though, yes, I know globally we can argue that might be the trend, but I don't think it's not, far off. Because if you see a lot of women are now participating in, even male competitive football competition. I think it was in Premiership, I saw a lady who officiated. That was a welcome development. And I think at the recently completed Nations Cup as well, we saw that introduction. So, they are gradually creeping up, and they are giving us a run for our money. So, but the truth is, South Africa has been one of our major rivals, both in the male and the female team. And like you said in your opening glee, that we've not had, a representation since 2012. That's a long time ago. That's over like a decade ago, right? So I want to believe that this current crop of Super Falcons that we have will change that narrative. And there are also some youthful players among them. There are a lot of players who also ply their trade outside the country. So I'm optimistic that we are going to, come out in flying color. And if you look at what happened, even when they played Cameroon, I think in Abuja, right?
Okay.
There were some terrific, controversies concerning the Cameroonians, where they were seen to be dumping some items like voodoo, on the pitch and even in our own net. That created some controversies, because our ladies were observant, so they really went against it and they kicked against it as well. And at the end of the day, the Super Falcons emerged victorious. But I want to believe that the South Africans are not coming with voodoo this time around. And even if they do, we are in the holy month of Ramadan, so every voodoo is already suppressed.
All right, that's a light-handed. Let's look at the quality now. Playing our current African champions. Looking at the Nigerian team and the coach, and the fact that we have some injury worries, how key is the first leg in Abuja, that's today now, in order for us to be able to get a decent outing in South Africa?
The truth is, we just have to go for the jugular. We need to get the maximum points, and if possible, even score as small goal as we can, and use the home advantage to our advantage. That's why it's a home advantage. And NFF had called on, fans and sport loving, especially football loving people to come out and give the Super Falcons that ultimate support. Like I said, you've not really seen it generating a lot of interest or generating a lot of activities in the social media where people are, galvanizing support for the Super Falcons, given the importance of the match and the fact that the match is even played here in Abuja. You ordinarily want to expect that, even the Senate Committee on Women Affairs, House of Reps Committee, all of them come out, and this is the time for them to rally around support, and even the Minister of Women Affairs. This is the time for her to come out and, galvanize support for the Super Falcons, right? It should cut across all the first ladies in the states, even our first lady. This is the time for them to, put their weight, behind the Super Falcons. And, women know how to influence. They are great influencers. So they can influence their husbands, and create that massive support for the Super Falcons. Today, the stadium would have been filled, to bring to capacity, and even encourage maybe students to also go and cheer them up, right? So there are a lot of things that we are supposed to do, it's just that we don't have people thinking outside the box. We also have representative at NFF, the head of female football, right? League, for instance, Aisha Falode should be doing a lot more than she's doing right now. So we are not really necessarily seeing that support that Super Falcons, Super Eagles get, and we are not seeing that being extended to the Super Falcons. This is not Falconet, for crying out, or Flamingos. This is Super Falcons. This is like the Super Eagles. Like they are the main representative of our female football. So we should see much of those support. So today, they should go for the jugular, get the maximum point, go to South Africa and take it cool. Play a compact game defensively. And you can see what Arsenal played against Man City. They got everything well thought of, and they knew that if they could at least get a draw, which is not a guarantee of, securing the league, but at least they would have gotten 4 points from Manchester City, and they did it. The first leg they won narrowly, yes, by 1 goal to nothing, and now they play draw, which means, and there's no team so far this season that has been able to get that kind of point from Man City. So the Super Falcons can use the same tactics. Make sure you score, even if you can't score as much goal as you ordinarily want to, because our Super Falcons are a high scoring team. They whip teams like 10-0, 11-0, 15-0, so they are very, very, rugged. They are very, very assertive when it comes to, finishing the game. And if that opportunity presents itself, they don't show mercy at all. I know they will go for the jugular. So I'm very optimistic that the Super Falcons will, emerge victorious.
All right. On the final note, in terms of before we look at some issues making the rounds in the papers, let's look at the issue of officiating. So, because some persons have said the current CAF president Musepe is from South Africa. Is there any chance that the officials might want to involuntarily skew the results to favor the South Africans? And how wary should Nigeria be making sure that everything is okay in terms of officiating?
We had similar accusations and counter accusations during Issa Hayatu's time as CAF president. And Issa Hayatu, ruled for more than 2 decades, not 3 decades. One of the longest serving CAF presidents we've ever had. And within that period, I think the Super Eagles lost to Cameroon 2 or 3 times at African Cup of Nations, even in Nigeria, on Nigerian soil. I will never forget year 2000. with some controversial decisions or officiating. But I don't want us to attribute it as the man, saddled with the responsibility of seeing piloting the African football. Don't forget that Nigeria defeated South Africa in Cote d'Ivoire, and the CAF president was seated, for that match, right?
Yes.
So I don't want to have that thought. Don't forget this is also Nigeria, so the official, should be very careful, because they might just not find it funny leaving the pitch if they mess up, and if it is too glaring and obvious that this is exactly their game plan. But I don't necessarily see that happening. It would be nice for us to just go have a good time. Super Falcons should go and demonstrate what they are known for. Don't forget that even the South Africans, who are their arch rivals, will also be scared, or are scared of the Super Falcons, because the Super Falcons have some crop of players now that are plying their trade in one of the most beautiful leagues in the world. The likes of Oshola, the likes of Gloria Loze, and the rest. So these are people whom are well exposed and experienced, and I'm pretty sure they will whip the South African ladies.
All right, we'll
See, they
go
call
for
them the Bayana also.
Yes, the Bayana.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just go for a 30 seconds break. When we return from the break, we'll be looking at what the papers are saying, and Isaiah Shatta will be helping us look at the big stories. Stay with us. right, welcome. This is the segment where we look at what the papers are saying this morning, and we'll be looking at the Daily Trust first of all, and we still have Issa Shatter joining us. We've got big headlines there. Bandit kills 7, abduct 13 family members in Kaduna, and the FCT is a headline. We've got 2024 Hajj, Nakon Airlines sign agreements for airlift. Then U.S. Muslim leaders reject Iftar dinner with Biden as anger over Gaza persists. Then we've got Kanu files a 8-count charge against Ganduje, wife, and others. And we've got other big stories there. Baru emerges acting Speaker of ECOWAS Parliament. Police escort dies on board Kaduna Abuja train.